Sissy that walk.
Sissy that walk, Jasmine. It's a RuPaul song. Oh my gosh, everyone's coming in. I'm so excited. We had about 25 people register. So I'm like, that normally means what? A quarter drops off, but the virtual world's like, I don't know the standards anymore. All right, so I'm just gonna get started and people can slowly trickle in. Super excited. I see some names I know. I see some names I don't know. If everyone can drop either their Instagram or their LinkedIn into the chat, I'd love to follow you. And I'd love if you want to follow each other. That'd be great. And Megan's gonna save them and make sure that we get in touch with everyone after, if you want me to. I mean, I'm not gonna like spam you. I'm just gonna follow you on the internet. And I'm going to do a shared screen and we will get started for real. Make sure I can see everybody. I think I'm going to keep this RuPaul going. Oh my gosh, it's so different without the music. Okay, welcome. So we only have an hour together, or actually 55 minutes. I want to be very efficient with everybody's time. I'm super excited. I was up till like 3 a.m, just going through this workbook. We started doing workshops 2 years ago, right before the pandemic. We were doing live workshops for those of you in Chicago, in Fulton Market at a women's office called The Wing. And I really want to get back to live and in-person workshops because I think they're so much more interactive. I live in Chicago, but I'm actually in DC right now. And we're just doing all day in-person meetings. And I'm learning so much more and getting to know my clients that I know pretty well, so much more. I just really miss in-person. And obviously with the pandemic, that's very limiting. Hi, Judy. And Carla's on. Carla, we got to do a photo shoot, but I was actually going to email you about that. So more thing. So welcome to Communications 101, Understanding and Elevating Your Message. I'm super excited about this workshop. I personally spent just so much time in the last few weeks, really rehearsing and reviewing this and hearing myself talk through it and rereading everything to make sure that we can make these concepts, these tactics, these tools accessible, understandable, and not just inactionable. A friend of mine, and her name's Nicole Biden, she's a publicist in the Scottsdale and Phoenix, Arizona market. She's so funny. She said to me a couple of months ago, actually like a year ago, but she said, Tamara, I'm inspired. Like we're so inspired. There's quotes, there's videos. I mean, we can all seriously inspire each other just by telling our stories. But, and I want to obviously inspire you all. I mean, I've got a pretty, I've got a good backup to share. I mean, how far I've come and kind of beating a lot of the odds that were, they're put up in front of me. But it's one thing to be inspired. It's one thing to get all these great ideas, but it's another thing to be actionable and really take these concepts of PR and communications and personal branding and make them really, really clear on next steps. So that's what I'm hoping that we do here today. I'd love to, I see some Instagram handles and LinkedIn's dropping in the chat. I'd love everyone to just let's keep the chat going. I'd love to see exclamation points and see that there's people there. I know I set up a webinar, but maybe in the future we can do some one-on-ones or some group sessions. I'm super flexible to and open to your ideas. I want to serve this community that we're building, the way that you want to be served. So all of that to say is, I'd also like to see here, if you can drop in the chat how you heard about us, if you know about us. I think there's some mutual friends here. So how did you come across our brand and our workshop and sign up for it? So would love to just see that chat, kind of see a little bit more action. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Tamara Edwards. I'm 32. I just got married a few months ago. I live in Chicago. I lived in DC for a few years. And I think that really helped shape my career. And I was working for a congressman for 6-7 years and absolutely loved it. Hey, Brittany, absolutely loved it, but also got very, there we go. Got very clear in my DC bubble that wasn't going to be where, who I was for the rest of my life, and was doing everything from writing press releases to getting the congressman's coffee and working at an executive level for executives. I came back to Chicago. I started my business and also kind of started doing part-time communications consulting for the Lieutenant Governor's office here in Illinois. And really have always enjoyed working at the executive level. I think I'm good at it. And really spent some time in the last few months and years saying, who do I want to be, right? Who do I want to be professionally? What services do I want to offer? And what came up time and again was startups. We do have corporate clients. Megan here is on the chat. I can't see the chat right now, but Megan here does a great job on those. But I just love startup land, and the way to get into startups is venture capital. And so it's been super fun. We've done everything from technology and data analytics companies to blockchain. And so I've sort of backed off of doing all of the day-to-day work, although we do have several agency clients where we do day-to-day work, and really wanted to create be more of a strategic consultant. So that's the direction that we're at right now, the direction we're going in. And I've served everyone from presidential candidates to congressional candidates to billionaires, millionaires, and my neighbors and friends who I just want to see step into this new era that we're in of personal branding and what is PR and getting your message. So I think of PR, communications, personal branding is, at the end of the day, our competitors are billboards. My competitor is a billboard. My competitor is a Facebook ad. My competitor is a business card. There's so many ways to think about this. And so what we've done with this workshop is kind of bottle what we do. We really think of ourselves as the guardrails for our clients, and they can play in between. And we just, bring our tactics and our ideas and facilitate. The decisions are theirs at the end of the day. But we really want to find ways to move the needle through PR and communications, and again, convince our clients to not just buy billboards, but work with us and hear our ideas. So really grateful that you're here. We, you'll see and you'll hear in my voice and tone in the writing throughout this document that I just want to keep it super, super real with everybody. This, this doesn't have to be complicated. So diving right in, and hopefully everybody here got the workbook. If you haven't, Megan can drop the view link in the chat so you can follow along, or if you'd like to drop, message Megan for your email, and she can email you a hard copy. So again, everyone should have it by now. I can't see the chat. Hi, Jasmine. Oh, Maggie, you're friends with Peggy. I don't know if we've met. So, okay, awesome. So diving right in, I'm gonna keep my chat up. Sorry about that. Diving right in, whether you're, and I've kept this workshop very general. You'll see some specific examples of clients in the personal branding space. You'll see some examples of clients in the actual brand, the company brand space. And so we tried to keep it right in between. And my best guess is that this is mostly a personal branding crowd. So I'll speak a little bit heavier to that end, but I think no matter what you're doing and what you're starting, I just spent, I've been here since 8 a.m. Eastern time. going through company culture. I facilitated, a 2-hour-long session on company culture. So whether it's a personal brand or, you're a startup or a corporation, you need to start from within. What gets you excited, right? Why are we doing what we're doing? I do know that there's a few real estate powerhouses in this audience. So, why are you turning to personal branding for your real estate business? Is it to, live a life of luxury? Is it to get your family ahead? Just take a moment outside of me talking to really think about why you're here, what you want, why are you investing this time in yourself? There's so many other things that we could all be doing right now. I'm so grateful that everyone's here, but what are we here? And I'll just share, I'm here to make PR communications, personal branding more accessible, more fun, and my competitors charge too much. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to play that game. I'm not going to sell you hardcore on a $10,000 service on the other end with promises of, freedom, financial freedom. We're all going to be millionaires. So I'm tired of reading that and seeing that and clicking on those things. So that's why I'm here. And I'm guessing for all of you, there's a business tie, right? And even if you're a professional philanthropist and you don't necessarily have that 9-to-5 or that hustle, you still have a why. You probably want to help other people. You probably want to help out your family. You want to live a better life, and through the medium of your personal brand, no matter what industry you're in, you can do that. You can inspire other people. So just starting off on that note. Then I think the second piece is, what do you want to accomplish, right? Do you want more Instagram followers? And if so, why? Do you want to do more in sales this year? Do you want to reach more people through your blogging or your inspiration, or maybe you're a person of faith? So what do you want? A lot of our clients want to have more people understand their brand, integrate their personal brand into the digital space. That's a really common theme for us. So just think a little bit about that, and keep thinking about that throughout our session. And then right now, here and now, number 3 on this list is just write on your schedule, like add something to your schedule, Tuesdays at 11 or in the morning, right? The best CEOs, the best professionals that I've ever worked with, my mentors, people I really look up to, what they all say? It's all about the practice, right? They have rituals, routines. And if you want to make change in your life for whatever reason, and you're turning to PR communications, personal branding as a medium, and maybe as a roadmap, to help you get there, put it on your schedule. You have to make time for it. Again, I'm not trying to take over your schedule and say it's going to be, hey, you need to spend the next 4 hours and $5,000 to do this. Like, no, but you do need to integrate it into your day. So make a commitment that makes sense for you, whether it's, every Saturday or every Sunday night. I used to work on my personal brand over a glass of wine on Sunday nights. That's how I kind of coped with Sundays. Or, I have plenty of reminders even on my personal calendar of my morning rituals, which I'll share some with you, that relate back to my personal well-being, but my personal brand. But this is sort of the sauce. And if you can't get past this page, I welcome you to stay. But I think that for us to move forward together as a group, and I even say this to clients and prospective clients, these are sort of the requirements, right? What do you want? Who do you want to help? Why does it matter? So we thought about how we wanted to share our process with you. Again, our goal is to be an open book. And I've seen great branding firms, great marketers, great publicists promise, you can get on TV too. If you just do these few steps, and we call it the Incubator, whatever. And I just want to make this so fun and so simple and so clear. So no sexy names, no perfect, systems. Our process is clarify, build, and advertise your brand. And in our view, no matter who we're working with, whether it's a $90 million manufacturing company in the western suburbs of Chicago, a $190 million satellite company, which is what we're doing here. I just submitted a $200,000 budget, which I was like, okay, is that okay, everybody? Or, somebody who wants to really hallmark what their personal brand and really harness it and own it. These 3 steps really help us kind of get out on the other side and have a nice strategy. And it's always the place that we start. So you'll see these little, numbers here at the top left for the next several slides, which indicate our kind of 1, 2, 3, right? So the first step being clarity. And we also refer to it as, your brand positioning. And so whenever we're stuck on anything, if we have a busy week or a busy time, we go back to it kind of points to our values. Like, who do we want to serve? Why are we serving them? Why does it matter? And all of those questions point back to just the baseline of your brand. So a couple questions, and I'll just kind of leave a little airtime for you to take a moment to think too for yourself. What is the problem you want to solve? I see some people. Oh, great. What is the problem you want to solve? Sorry, I'm clicking the wrong thing. Who do you want to help and influence? And it doesn't have to be my neighbors, my friends. It could be hardworking women, potential home buyers, people in my network, or young Latina women who can look up to me, right? People who are disenfranchised. For us, we want to sort of convert people who, not necessarily the non-believers, but people who haven't had the exposure to high quality PR and communications, and invite them in and make it very easy for them. That's who we serve. So it can be whatever combination or characteristics that make sense for you. And you don't have to have the answer now. This is a workbook and this is an exercise. And the purpose of today is to walk you through. So it's going to be a lot in the next few minutes, to walk you through and start empowering you to think this way. Because again, it works. We've been doing this for 4 years. It works. Why does it matter? Why does, you having a blog matter to anybody? I mean, it matters to you. It's nice to have an archive, but who do you want to read that blog and walk away? I mean, so many people say, if I can just help one person, that's enough. Well, who are you helping and how? For those of you in Chicago, I mean, there was some terrible news from yesterday or over the weekend of violence and mental health issues going on, that a couple people lost their lives. So if that's your cause, right, why and how are you going to make change, right? So really lean into, if you had that microphone and you could just, or a megaphone and just preach, right? What would you say? And one of the things we ask our clients all the time to help drive this home a little further is, what will you say when you get there, and will you get invited back? I think that goes back to some of the techniques, which we'll talk about. What has shaped your perspective, and then kind of start to zoom out a little bit, right? Why am I the right person for this idea? And that's a question of credibility. A lot of people, they know they want to weigh in and make a change, or help others, or drive their business forward. For those of you in real estate, I spoke with someone last week that said they want to help first-time home buyers because it's sort of a predatory environment. I had never heard that before. I don't know the research, but I thought that was interesting, and that's a very, very specific example. And the question I asked this broker was, well, why you, right? And she's like, I've been doing it. I've seen it all. So it just goes back to that credibility, right? If we ask ourselves that question, why would people want to hire us over these huge $20,000, $30,000 a month PR firms? And the thing is the differentiator, the key is they're going to get me. They're not going to get an account manager. So not only that, I mean, I have a background in public policy. I have an extensive network relative to certain industries. So start to back that, back up the reasons why you want to serve and why you want to grow, why you want to get in front of these specific people. And then again, zoom out a little bit more and go back, lean in, and think about your personal brand. How would others describe me? How do I show up? And that really points to the baseline answer, which is how people reflect back to you and celebrate you. It's probably how you want to keep showing up: friendly, kind, stern, serious, consistent, right? On time, those kinds of things. That all plays into your personal brand, not just a nice picture on the internet, but who you are. And so those factors, just having that list in front of you, I think is so beneficial, just to kind of take a step back and say, like, this is sort of me in a nutshell. And, each question, I do want you to think about this. I do suggest you do it in your own time and spend time with maybe a friend, and maybe say hey to a friend, a good friend, someone that you trust and you can be really vulnerable with. Or you can call us, call Megan, call myself, and we can have that session with you. We really enjoy them. This is our discovery process. Just really spend time, but also trust your gut. Whatever kind of comes up first, just sort of say it. It's a little bit of mind mapping. And I put some glasses on some of these slides just to offer some reading. And if I can click it, not to go too far off topic, but a fun thing, especially for those of you who really want to take time and do this yourself. And this is something we enjoy doing. Again, we're in the venture capital space, we're in the startup space. We start with we always tell our clients, start with a pitch deck. And what that's going to do is drive home. And again, you can do this for your personal brand. It's a really fun challenge. It's fun to do with other people, but make sure you set time for yourself. Or again, if you're starting a business or you own a business or your business is far along, just do this, right? This is Airbnb, every company, Airbnb has like the classic pitch deck, 12-slide pitch deck. I've probably built 7 or 8 pitch decks for companies that I've had ideas for at my company as we're in growth stages, different verticals of our organization. But again, if you've never seen a pitch deck, that link is in the workbook. It's a really fun exercise, and you can take it a step further and go through the problem you solve, the target market and opportunity, the solution. What's your revenue model? And it's just a good exercise, and it's something that we enjoy doing. We recommend our clients do. And we actually, for our clients that do retain us, we actually produce almost like a personal brand pitch deck for them that becomes that playbook. It becomes brand guidelines, it becomes that go-to document of the brand. And if there's little shifts in the audience or in the persona or the perspective, you can, notate that. So I know that we're on a webinar and not on a live chat, but does anybody have any questions? You can raise your hand and I can bring you in to talk. I'm just going to call on somebody. How about Brittany Burton? Are you willing to talk? I just pressed the permitted button if you want to ask any questions or just share whatever came up for you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I don't really have any questions right now, but I do think these are really good tips. I was just saying to myself, I think I do need to kind of write out my why me to have a really firm response to that, because that is something, especially in my field, being a real estate broker. When you're trying to acquire listings and things of that nature, you may have a seller who is interviewing several different agents. And that question absolutely may come up, why you? Why should I, go with you to sell my property? And I do think that it's something that I can answer simply because I do like to talk. So I can kind of, come up with something right there on the spot. I do think that that is something that not necessarily needs to be rehearsed, but at the same time, it needs to be rehearsed.
Yeah, it's I'm the hardest worker in the room, right? And that's maybe part of your brand. I'm curious, what is something that you love about your job?
I think it's the opportunity to actually help other people. I have a really huge heart. So for me, I thrive off of being able to help others, especially in this type of way. I always say I am an advocate for home ownership in the Black and Brown community.
Oh my gosh.
So for me, it is, it's amazing when you look at statistics and you see statistics of, Black and Brown community versus our counterparts who, as far as the numbers of home ownership, and you see our numbers are drastically lower. For me, it doesn't make me sad, but it just motivates me to educate the Black and Brown community on home ownership, and how you can accomplish generational wealth within the real estate market. So for me, that's my biggest motivator, behind what I do, and being able to assist others. That is just, the biggest factor for me in the business.
Yeah. Brittany, thank you so much for sharing, and stay on for the end because I have a fun little giveaway for you that we'll announce in the end. And in the meantime, check your calendar for February 25th. And I really hope you're available that date. So
Okay.
stay on to the end, okay? So, okay, we're going to speed it up. So the next step is, you kind of start in this like pit of like, who am I? It's a little existential. I think it's really fun, but it's difficult. It's looking inwards. And now to me, the light bulb goes off when we do a competitive analysis. And so what you want to do is get a list of 3 to 4 people, businesses, brands, right? Janice, who you guys saw, she's a huge fan of Barbara Streisand. And I said, what do you like about Barbara Streisand? She goes, oh, she's elegant. And that's a word that became that's a keyword as part of her brand, right? Elegance, sophistication. So you want to take a moment to write down who are some people that I really love. And they could be people, celebrities, they could be people in your network, in your industry. Try to get a combination, again, of 3 to 4. And what you want to do is go one by one and ask yourself, what do you like about their brand? And what would you do differently? You don't have to strike them down or say, you don't have to put yourself, up to them and say, look, I'm not going to be Oprah tomorrow, but perhaps what do you like about Oprah? And it's maybe the way she delivers, or the fact that she's, holistic, or whatever it is for you. And what those answers yield, in our view, is you're starting to tease out the differentiation. And I'll share another little philosophy with you is this idea of 0 to 1. You have the opportunity. It's a kind of coined term by this investor named Peter Thiel. He's the guy who founded PayPal, wrote a book, totally changed my perspective. Point being, you now have the opportunity to create something that never existed before. You don't have to start a blog because that's what you think you should be doing. If you're going to start a blog because you enjoy the written word, right? Written form. Maybe you're starting a business, or maybe you want to interview people like Brittany talked about in the Black and Brown community who are figuring out how to create generational wealth. I mean, that would be an amazing platform. And are you going to do it through video or Q&A? How are you going to be a convener and a facilitator? You can kind of take some examples of people that you like in your industry who have done it, and find ways for you to get creative, and then think, what do I want to do? Do I want to be on camera? Do I want to be a little bit more behind the scenes? You can be really specific. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this. There's a lot of instruction there. So I would spend time reading it when you get to this exercise. And now, once you kind of get past those 2 things, now it's time to start bringing your brand to life. And we recommend, I know that photography is expensive, especially women, hair and makeup. You want to look great. I mean, for me, I'm always, I'm not always on a diet because I have my own issues with diet culture, but I always want to look and feel good. I'm a very curvy girl. So what is the right angle? What am I going to wear? I kind of stress out about that. So I understand, as women, for those of you on the call, it's not always like what people are super excited about, but I do recommend having multiple photo shoots in a short period of time, anytime, especially you're in a growth stage, whether you're launching something or you're going to be launching or you're pivoting or something like that. And what we recommend, the reason we recommend 2 or 3 in a perfect world, is you want to show different sides of your brand, right? And so this is Jen, and some of you on the call might know Jen, but this is photography that TE & Co has provided. This is, available to everybody here. If you want to book a photo shoot with us, follow up with Megan, and we can get going, set you up, black car, hair and makeup, and really make it a nice experience. It's very important to us that our clients come mentally, emotionally prepared, and we send a black car. It just has to happen. Our clients love that. But all of that to say is, we had Jen, who's actually a hair salon owner in the suburbs, not too far where I'm from. And we said, hey, let's get a team shoot together for your website. And let's make sure you're, in the center, and some of the other poses, we had her a little bit more in front. And let's just let's showcase the bond that you have with these girls. A lot of the girls that work for her and work with her have been with her for a long time. There's loyalty, there's genuine friendship, camaraderie. So we want to bring that to life, right? But there's also Jen, who's a mom, whose husband is very supportive. I mean, look at the capture, and we actually have 2 different photographers on this. I don't know from a true branding standpoint if people want to, dispute that there should be the same photographer and consistency. I do agree with that, but I think look at how different these moods are, and yet she's still fabulous. And now you really feel like you know her. She's a mom. That that's her, her husband, and that she's also a leader and, out there hustling. So, this was a huge up level for her, and we're launching some great projects coming up in March, but spend some time on this and start with a mood board. I think that's a great place to start. Pinterest is a great source. And just a real quick example, this is a technology company, an analytics company rather, that we worked with. So we went out and promoted it. This is pre-pandemic, out in the field. These were all photography captures through photographers that I work with. And then we did some nice branded shoots for the website, nice stock images. This is actually Kelly Rizzo, Bob Saget's, the late Bob Saget's wife, who we hired as an influencer. So, we're starting to tell this story of like, there's fun, there's a lifestyle, this is a Top Chef and this brand. So we really need to catch people's eyes through influencer marketing. And then, those of you who know Janice, she's one of my favorite people of all time. We follow her around with the camera everywhere because she's always up to really interesting things. And so see all these different sides to Janice that you're seeing. She's out in the community. As a philanthropist, she's very close with her daughters, and they have a great relationship. She hosts her team for really spectacular and elevated events. And this is when we did a toy drive right around the Thanksgiving holiday. And then we brought her into the studio, and she planned on this suit for like months, and she's like, I'm wearing my Dolce & Gabbana suit and the pumps. I mean, she was so excited, and just went for full power. I mean, she's, she as the managing broker and works with lots and lots of agents, and her phone's ringing all day long. And we wanted to make her powerful, but also accessible, and show these different sides of her personality. So hopefully this is giving you some ideas on ways that you can bring your brand to life. And I'm not going to lecture anybody here about video. I personally am a huge fan of video. We are not, TE & Co is not a video production company per se. We're a personal branding company before we're her video company. However, a little story here is we started doing media training for our clients. That was inherent. I've prepped members of Congress, people about to go into congressional hearings, live TV, just everything. So that was inherent in what we do. And what we found was 2 things. One, if we put a camera on, they take it a little bit more seriously, and it actually produces some really great results. And everybody, says the ums and the ums and the, I'm not sure if I answered that correctly. So we can edit, right? Editing tool, you can edit, it's not live TV. So that was one thing, was we shook out the message for our clients through what we thought was media training, but actually was just putting an actual camera and interviewing them. So again, we just captured them and started creating these videos. And I'll just show you an example. And Brittany, keep this little section in mind, okay? And we started doing biography reels.
My biggest role models was my mom. I always would look to my mom and see, like, I remember I would watch her, she'd get up, get dressed, do her hair and makeup and then go about her day and run her businesses. Both my parents are immigrants. So my parents just always had that mentality of work hard and do whatever it takes to get to where you need to go. My mom was one that was a role model to me. And then Oprah. I remember I would rush home from school. I was like 10 years old and she would come on at 4 o'clock. So just in time when I would get off the bus, come home. And I was just in awe of this woman that had everybody on. It didn't matter if she agreed with you, didn't agree with you. Throughout my life, I was told no a lot, especially in.
So I played that just to share with you. I mean, this was, again, started just as media training, and whether or not you work with us, on media training or getting your message out, I encourage you to, if you don't have a tripod for your cell phone, just start practicing. It doesn't have to be perfect, or, post in Instagram stories, tell people, what you're doing, what you're passionate about. I'm on my way to a new listing in a Black and brown, predominantly Black and brown, neighborhood and community. And this is so exciting. This is what it means to me. I know Jasmine, you're on, right? I think from a video standpoint, I'd love to hear more about, Jasmine is a friend of mine who's on this call, but is, to me, young and very, very successful, and, has a lot of drive and a lot of interest. And I think that that is like the epitome of a role model. There's so many 20 somethings that I know that are wonderful, but then you meet Jasmine and you're like, what the hell was I doing when I was at that age? So, what is your drive? And I think that's inspirational in its own right. So again, that is, that can be written form, but that can also be brought to life in video, and you can just get really creative with this. So lean into video. If you haven't, just try it. Again, it doesn't have to be with us. Get yourself a nice ring light, or when you're on Zoom, record yourself, just something, give people a chance to see you, capture that content, and then post it. Whether or not you feel like you look great, sound great, say the ums, you can always edit that out. People expect editing. Anyway, get on video. And I forgot what this little glasses are. Let's see what I hyperlinked. Oh, I'll skip this, but I'm not going to make you all watch this, but there's this, I'm not here to dump my odd thoughts on you, but I wanted to, if you're not familiar with neuroplasticity, it's kind of like The Secret, if you remember that in like the 2000s, or putting, your mood board together when you're a kid and then manifesting your dreams. Neuroplasticity, actually, I learned about it through Lady Gaga, who you just visualize this person that you want to be. You look at other people. We consume other people's content all day long. YouTubers, famous people, thought leaders, experts in their fields, people who are, changing the world. And we think, gosh, how do they do it? And they use tools, video, photography, to get their message out. You have to entertain these days. I'm actually thinking about taking an acting class just so I can get better on my feet. And really, I'm putting myself out there more than I ever have in my career. And it's totally freaking me out, but I have to get really good at this stuff. So all of that to say is lean into video. If you want to do a little reading or watching on neuroplasticity, it's basically saying that you can you have to be very specific about what you visualize for yourself, and then go and embody that and create that until you kind of two becomes one. And that's all I'll say about that for now. On the second piece, maybe you can do this first before a photo shoot. I don't really prescribe a specific order. Professional brand builders and designers might have a stronger opinion, but I think you want to have a brand, right? You want to have a logo. You want to have colors. You want to represent something. Using this kind of moody brown throughout this presentation, that's ours, but we also have chosen other things to represent our brand that is inherent in our website and things like that, and these fonts and the spacing and things like that. So, you want to lean into a color palette. You want to lean in. You don't have to necessarily spend. What I like to do to build color palettes for my personal brand clients, we just, we're working with a chief of staff who's leaving after a 14-year stint on Capitol Hill and worked in leadership. And he is from Texas, and he's 35 and he's gay and has a wonderful husband. And he said to us on our discovery call, Tamara, I'm just a cowboy. So that's what we did for his color palette. We started with that cognac brown color that is just maybe the color of my headband. We started there, and then he really loves the outdoors, so we started with forest greens, right? So it doesn't have to be expensive, too fancy, anything like that. Just start to put together colors, take a step back and say, do these go well together? Does this feel like me? And maybe run it by a few friends and let it sit for a week or so, and then return back to that. For those of you in real estate, I don't know if you have to stick to a certain color based on your brokerage or how it works, but bring in a pop of color if you can. So, obviously there's a lot to say, and there's so specific for each company, each industry, but I do encourage you to develop some brand guidelines. I listed Wolf Circus and the decks for Urban Outfitters just to give you examples. You can click on these in your own time of how people really bring these moods to life. How does Urban Outfitters, I don't really shop there anymore. I used to. I love our Urban Outfitters, but you go in the store, you're catching a vibe. You're catching like this living room vibe. How do they do that? And so it's interesting when it all kind of comes together. So I don't know if anyone wants to drop in the chat any questions, or we're making good time. Happy to take a quick, special guest if anyone wants to weigh in or share any thoughts that came up in the last few slides. There's some people I don't know here. I'd love to hear from Maggie or Judith or Sharita or Brittany McCrae, or there's some cell phones. I see a hand up. Okay, Sharita, all you.
Hi.
Hi, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. I am a real estate agent out of Chicago, friends with Brittany Burton. I want to just say that video content, like you're hitting it right on the head, because that is my one fear. I can talk about real estate all day, but you put a camera in front of me and I forget.
Yeah, it's hard.
And then the crazy thing is that we do as real estate agents or professionals in general, watch other successful professionals, and we're like, how? And I think what I got from your examples were manifestation, because that's what it's about, right? Imagining who you want to be and showing up as that person until you become that person.
Yeah.
So that was a good gem.
Yeah. And I'll just, I have a lot to say when it comes to video, to really kind of encourage and invite people in to rip that Band-Aid off. But it's a muscle to flex, right? I was a commentator on MSNBC, like right 2-3 years ago at this point, pre-pandemic. And I did not do as well as I thought. And I had experience being what's called a surrogate when you're out there, speaking for your candidate. And I had trained lots and lots of people, and it's just because I was rusty, right? So it really, in my view, is a muscle to flex. And again, this personification, it's not about showing up fake. It's just, it kind of goes back to like your higher self, your highest self. Like, how do you want to show up? Going back a little bit to these competitive analysis, right? Maybe there's these like YouTubers, right? These kid YouTubers or these younger YouTubers who just do such an amazing job, and they come in and they're like loud and in your face, and you're in real estate, so check out this property. Great neighborhood, right? Do you want to show up that way, or do you want to be a little bit more demure? Like, what is the Sharita show about? Because at the end of the day, I think we binge each other. You probably check Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever else, what else? Twitter, before you go and binge a show, right? So we're already watching each other inherently. Now let's figure out a way to, if you want to, I produce myself. Obviously I have, if you watch my videos, I'm a little bit more like, on my feet right here. I actually only got a few hours of sleep and have been in meetings all day. But when I'm promoting my magazine or promoting things, I really do. I take time to get my hair and makeup done. I film way ahead of time, and I edit myself because I want to show up really clean and polished. And it also has to be authentic and still come from the heart. So it takes work, it takes practice, and the only way to do it is to do it. So thank you for sharing. Really, really appreciate it. I will also have a nice little prize for you if you have to stay till the end. So and that was Shrita. Okay, perfect. And if you could make sure to get Megan, I have your email, but just make sure you connect with Megan after this to follow up with some of our giveaways. Anyone else in the chat, you want to weigh in or ask a question? I am going to keep going. So the last part is, if nothing else, this is our thought leadership. This is what I think is the most simple way of explaining PR for you to go on and do this yourself and carry out messaging, right? You want to start getting in a cadence. And I'm going to talk a little bit for just a second about social media, right? Social media is a great media, right? And if you're just posting to post, that's great. But you also want to have a strategy, even if it's your personal social media, and you want to grow your audience. I'm not an expert in, going viral or anything like that. Actually, I don't think viral is good. Always going to be beneficial, but you want to start engaging your audience, right? But you have to tell a story. That's what we do as publicists all day long through press releases. And we say to our clients, what are the things that are happening in your business? And again, on the PR front, to me, it's two tracks, right? What is happening in your business? And I'm talking about proactive communications, proactive PR. We're not talking about crisis. So you want to figure out, look ahead on your calendar. Everybody think about you in your life. What are some major announcements coming up? If you're in real estate, did you hit $100,000 in Q1? If you got a job promotion, right? If you, what are just some exciting things, right? We have a new intern that started. That's a pretty big announcement for us being a small firm. Her name is Bailey Green. She's, we'll do some posting on her and celebrate that. And it starts to tell a story, right? What are some milestones that you've hit? We're going to celebrate 4 years in business. I'll talk about that and show you some examples. Maybe it's personal. You and your partner have been in a relationship for a certain amount of time, or you've been at your job for a certain amount of time. So I know those are the major announcements, and milestones can be a little crossover there, but the idea is to get you thinking. And growth, people love growth. They love, I have a new job. They love, I've hired, we're hiring, or whatever the case may be. They love philanthropy. We always ask our clients, do you have a philanthropic arm? And not necessarily you should, because we want, we're not an NGO PR firm, but, and we do help out with a lot of our clients' philanthropic interests, and then we have our own, right? But we don't specialize only in non-for-profits. But all of that to say is, there's got to be a philanthropic tie. That's the standard for especially businesses. But think about your personal brand in this context too. We all grew up with TOMS, the one-to-one. That is a value, especially for the millennial and Gen Z. They want the companies that they're buying from. They want high quality, and they want to make an impact. So if you all remember that cell phone SIP example, that was a data technology company. We were trying to get through our PR efforts to people to download this app and see the opportunity. And so they launched right when the pandemic hit. And instead of focusing on what our brand story was and the milestones, because nobody cared, it's a restaurant industry driven hospitality application that basically gets you free bars or free drinks at bars and restaurants. We said, great, I'm going to take from my PR budget. We're going to donate $10,000 to the emergency fund for bartenders and make that a call to action. And suddenly, I think it was Jameson put in $500,000. So did Jameson read the news of my press release and get motivated? I'd like to think so. but it kind of felt good to be the first at that. We had the press release out. I mean, 2 days after the pandemic was, the shutdowns kind of happened. So all of that to say is find a way to bring in, philanthropy. And, one thing I've been wanting to do is even in my local area, make sandwiches and drop them off to the homeless men and women who are struggling with mental health. Clearly, some of them, not having good days. So just being a good neighbor, right? So am I going to do it for the internet? No, I'm going to do it because that's part of who I am and how I was raised and what's important to me. So, and then what is your call to action? Read my blog. Sign up for this, learn more about this. So your call to action, CTAs, classic marketing, or your needs, right? If you if you're looking for more clients, like you can say that online these days and just be very clear about what you're asking of people. So just to kind of draw back the curtain a little bit, I mean, these are some things that we'll be doing this year as a company. We have a magazine just launched. We're going to launch another one in June, which I'm so excited. We have our 4-year anniversary coming up. My birthday's coming up. So I'm going to make that the magazine launch number 2. My 1-year anniversary for my husband and I just got married 4 months ago. So I'm going to promote that I'm taking time off because I want to be a whole human being. I don't want to just be Tamara, the PR person. I want my clients, I want my community, I want my friends, my followers to see like, also don't call me, but also I'm a person who, I'm for the first time going to be traveling to Greece. So I'm going to take people along for that journey and make that sort of my storyline that I'm going to build it up. So, and I'll talk about that in a second. And then we're going to bring our magazine to life. At the end of the year, we're going to release an audio experience. I personally invest 99% of my time in my clients. So I'm not going to go down a podcast route right now, but I do want to create content that's bingeable, biteable, and these kind of one-offs. So they feel to me very special. So we're going to do some little podcast setup and some audio experience. I might have it filmed. We'll see. And then, we're expanding to the DC and San Diego markets. So I'm going to make sure people know that. And the slide of the slide of all slides, right, this is what PR is all about. And this is what you can consider doing for your social media to tell that story, right? So in the context of releasing our 3rd magazine at the end of this year, we're going to prepare a lot and we're going to invest. We want to show up, right? We're going to do photo shoots for everything and multiple photo shoots, capture a lot of content, but we're going to promote it on the front end coming soon. This is the dates. Here's some sneak peeks. Sign up, make sure you don't miss it, right? That kind of thing. We'll probably start promoting it 2 to 3 weeks out just because I don't want to personally spam people. And I kind of like my profile right in the middle. Day of, week of, it's here, release some videos, do some lives, which we did this first time around. Thank you everyone for signing up. These are all individual posts. Megan is our PR lead for a lot of our corporate clients. She leads the magazine and the PR for the magazine. So she did press releases for each one of these sort of sections and told the story with the media. We were able to garner some media, and I was on Business X radio for it, which I thought was kind of fun to do. Day of, thanks for signing up. Promote Day of. Oh my gosh, it's here, right? Like really spending time online. I went full influencer for like 2 days, and I was like, this is not for me to be on my phone all day. But there's still ways you can do it and still breathe. And then after the event, continue to publish, continue to promote, and this, overall, I still posted other things throughout the process just to kind of balance. I didn't want to just be promoting my PR business on all of my pages. We still want to promote our clients. And then I like to share things in my personal life. So, but this was the formula, and this is the formula and has been the formula forever. And again, we're publicists by trade, by nature. So for us, what was intuitive is before an event, promote it, announce it, give the call to action, day of, right? And then after the event, tell them what happened. And this isn't the formula for every press campaign ever, but this is how you get people, in the churn of your story. So I know we're kind of cutting it close on time. So pulling it all together, if you spend a little time on the front end, right, about thinking about why you want to serve others, why it matters, right? A lot, spend as much time as you need here getting very clear, and go back to those questions and even take it a step further. I really encourage you to set up a one-on-one with a friend, someone who you feel comfortable with, and you just have to listen to each other, give each other each anywhere between 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, and, do it over a glass of wine and just talk. It'll be really exciting to see what comes up. I had a hard time picking the questions that I wanted for this presentation today, because sometimes they're off the cuff. So you don't have to stick to that script. You can start there and go a little further, especially if you're in that position where you get to interview somebody. Just keep drawing it out and take notes and even record it if you can. That's where the magic is when we're in the moment. And the way I can relate that back is, I'm sure we've all felt it, where you're like, that was so genius what I just said. What did I just say? Right? Like, that's what we're trying to capture with our clients, those genius moments, and then just keep bringing them back in, and then bringing them back into video, and then bringing them back into copy, and then bringing them back into messaging. Right? I always say to my clients, I can write you something, but if it's coming from me and not coming from you, it's not going to last. So, two, go out and have fun, try some photo shoots. I'll just give you a little heads up. Our June magazine is going to be a guide of all of my favorite freelancers, photographers, videographers that we work with. And, it'll be a resource for people like you who come to these workshops who are like, okay, what is the price point for a photographer, and what is the process? We want to teach people how to do this for themselves. And then third, don't be afraid to post, publish, hit send. This has been the key to my personal and professional success. And again, I really see myself as like an average Jane. I know I'm hardworking. I know I'm ambitious. I carry myself with a certain, try to carry myself with a certain confidence, but I just try things. I don't throw crap up against the wall and hope it sticks. I really think about it, and then I try it and then iterate. That's business. So I'm not going to lecture you too much on that, but just, I have a client that she knows I just throw her over the edge sometimes, and it's painful, but Gary Vaynerchuk, if any of you follow any of his content, he's great on LinkedIn too, but he's a thought leader who kind of tells you to, get your ass in gear. He says, you shouldn't decide for everybody else how much they love a video, right? So don't make the decision. Don't hold back. Don't not post those videos. Don't not post those photos. Just post it. Just get it out there. Get comfortable with it, because that's, if you're not doing it, someone else is doing it, and they're going to do it better. And you probably have a lot more to offer because you're taking this time to go into your why. So I just want to plug, I know we're like right over the minute. I'm so sorry. I just want to plug, we have in celebration of our 4 years in business, we are opening up our video service and taking photos of you. And Brittany, you are going to do this for free with us, and hopefully you're available. And the date is Friday, February 25th. So Brittany, if you're available that day, we'd love to have you in at no charge. That's our compliments. And thank you for speaking up on the call. And then, is Sharita still on? She's not. Okay, we'll have to follow up with her too. But we'd love to invite you to consider, joining us that day. And for everyone that did join, we'd love to take $100 off. So really what we're doing is we are giving people access and opening this up. I mean, this is $1,000 service, which is still a good deal. So I'm not going to go full salesman on you, but essentially you'll get some really nice images. We're going to have a great photographer. We're going to have hair and makeup there for you. I won't send a black car. Otherwise I'll be in the red with this project, but we just want to get as many people in the door. In our office, hopefully those are, this is a Chicago group. Our offices are right down the street from like Rock and Roll McDonald's, right off the Ohio Street Bridge. So we'll make it really easy. Please reach out to Megan if you have any questions. And Brittany, I really hope you're available that day. I really want to work with you. And then keep an eye out for our workshop. Keep an eye out we're going to be announcing every magazine cycle. We're going to do new workshops, new programming. And if you have any questions or needs or interests and you want more, we'd love to create more programming around what you're doing. We do one-on-one consulting. We do want you to walk away from those with real clear strategies, tactics. We'll take you through this process. And then, this is really step one. And then we'll actually develop and help you introduce you to the right people. We're no longer taking agency day-to-day retainer clients because it'll be too busy. So we want to focus on our clients and have conversations and get you to where you want to go. So that's sort of the next stage of business that we're going. So I really appreciate it. I know we're a minute or so over time. Thank you so much for joining. And please follow up with me at hello@tamaraedwards.co if you have any questions. Everybody here, you should have my email already. So don't be afraid to, reach out. We can do a 15-minute one-on-one. I love meeting new people, no strings attached. I just want to expand our mission, our vision, and our purpose, and help create more workshops like this. So would love your feedback. Oh, hi, Sharita. Okay, Sharita, we are also going to have you in that day if you're available to the workshop, just because you guys were so bold and spoke up, and really, really appreciate it. So thanks, everyone. I know we're cut for time. I'm a businesswoman. You're businesswomen, most of you. So let's have a good day, and we'll see you on the other side. Okay. Thank you so much.